You're actually doing activities on a weekly basis where you're enjoying life along with business.
Hey everyone, thanks for coming. Welcome to the community with eXp Realty. We're so glad that you're here today. And I'm just going to do a quick intro today, bring up our guest speakers because we have an incredible amount of content to cover. 4 top producers presenting today, really leaning in with us and showing us what's working in their business to create an insane amount of business without what? Spending money. And I love that, right? Way too often we have agents showing up saying, oh, I want to build a big business and I want to do all this stuff. Where can I bleed cash? No, that's a terrible question. So what's nice today is we're going to focus on things that you can do now that it will create the effect that you're looking for, will create the abundance, and you can be really profit forward instead of expense forward in your business, right? At the end of the day, does it make any difference in your life if you make $1 million and spend $1 million, right? All on your business, your profit is 0. Wait a minute, I think I made a mistake. All right, so that's a problem. We're going to fix that one today, and I'm really excited. These are 4 unbelievable top producers. We've got Christine Kites, Casey Maland, Haim Herrera, and Tyler Boening all with us today. Thank you guys for being here and for being willing to pour back into the community at eXp.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Jeff. The broker duo, Casey and I, Christine. Thank you so much. Jeff is always amazing. He's always sharing so much content every week. And we're just so privileged to be here today and honored to be able to present to you some great information about how you can work on improving the relationships with your clients, connecting and communicating with them in a way that does not require any additional cost to do it, and to build your database and your pocketbook. So Casey and I had kind of shifted gears in the last year on our own business. We really had a high level of lead generating that was, paid for leads that was coming in to our team. And we really recalibrated and decided to shift gears into something that's a little bit more passionate for us, what makes more sense for us, which is being who we are. We're genuine people persons. We like people, we love connecting, communicating, being involved in their world and their life. And so with that shift and things that we made in the last year, you've even seen some changes how that worked out.
Yeah. So, Christine used to pay for a lot of leads, and that was great. There's still a little bit being paid for, but just being genuine and connecting and being warm and, loving on your clients, they just rant and rave about us, and they literally tell everyone about us. And just with their experience and their home buying process, it's really just amazing. So shifting in this market is really helping, us with the business as well.
Yeah. And just like I said, capitalizing on just what we do best. And improving that client experience has really made some raving reviews to the team, to Casey. They want to tell everybody about us. So with the shifting landscape that's going on this year, I think it's imperative that we work on cultivating those relationships with our current, our past, and our future clients. And doing so, we'll be adapting with what's going on and then thriving forward into our real estate landscape.
Yeah.
So what we wanted to do is introduce you to Haim and Tyler, another dynamic duo that are very similar. When we talked, we realized there's a lot of similarities in what they do in their business, what we do in our business, and we've gotten so much from them on how we can do things better ourselves and improve. And wanted to bring you forward here and talk a little bit about how you guys started up the connection and realizing that you guys were a good fit to join together as a team.
Yeah, so the beginning of everything is, we've known each other for a couple of years now.
Yeah.
And at first it was a super random thing where I was asked to assist, opening up a door really fast. And it turned out it was for a buddy of his, but he was also there. And that was kind of the first time we initially kind of met and everything. But then at one point, for the same people, I went and opened up another door. We said goodbye to the clients, and him and I ended up next to my truck just talking and bantering back and forth a little bit. But then we ended up talking like next to my truck for like two and a half hours, and realized like we had both had the same goal, like we want to like build something bigger, and then like just production ourselves, and like that kind of growth, and was quickly like realized as like our main focus. And from there we just started slowly becoming like less and less apart.
When I think a part of it is, it's when I first met him, he just has all this energy, tons of energy. And at first I'm like, whoa, cool your jets, But after we had an opportunity to speak, I realized actually our minds are aligned as to what we want in the future, what we want to build and what that looks like. And so after working together, and trying to, cultivate business and also training each other as to how do we do things better, we realized that we're polar opposites. The things I like to do, he hates doing. The things he loves to do, I hate doing it. So we were like, hold on a second. I'm like, what if we combine forces? What can we do then? And so I think that was one of the big, crucial moments when we were just like, hey, you're my other half.
Your yin to your yang.
Absolutely. And that's what I think really triggered okay, let's actually have conversations about this. What does it look like? And, we did like a whole vision board. What do we want it to look like? What is it going to be? And then when are we going to do this? Like, are we going to do it, or this is just talk, And so that was really neat for us to come together and just be like, the more transactions we worked on, the more people that we met together, we realized that no matter the situation, whether you have someone that's super analytical or someone that just kind of wants to have fun, we're able to hold conversations with almost anybody because we balance each other out.
Yeah, it was a lot of conversations like constantly over time, but like once that moment finally came, and that it was like it's time to go, right? That's when things started getting absolutely nutty. Right? And we'll talk about some of the things that we've done, right, in the past little bit here. Right? Did you want to pull up that slide?
Yeah, I'd be happy to share my screen.
Everything, the slide you're about to see is sitting at the top. Failure is not an option. And it truly, truly wasn't. Like, one, because I'm married to a beautiful redhead and I have daughters, right? And I take care of all of that front of everything. So when we started it, we pretty much each in our own regard did about 2.5 weeks, right, of work that should have taken about 6 months. And through like what we're saying, like the free things to use, so him and right, KB Core is attached to our Google Suite, which we share. So we have shared access to the email, calendar, all of that piece to everything. And I essentially then I deep dove into KB Core, because the person who was my like coach and still is sponsor, Jake Rockwell, he taught me a lot of great things like while I was in management for the team that I was on. And a lot of it had to do with systems, and knowing the systems top to bottom, how they function, how they work for you. And the best thing is, KB Core is already part of our world. And people are always sometimes like a little intimidated by it, but like when it comes to like the campaigns and everything like that, they really just going in and like, because my biggest thing, like when I talk about KB Core or anything else, like you can't hurt it. Just go play, like have fun, tap every button, try to figure those things out, use yourself as a test dummy to make sure that everything looks right on the opposite end. Right? But through all of that, it's been a really fun thing because he is like our photographer. He has a professional photography equipment and all these things, and he did the design completely by himself. So it was a fun thing in the beginning to see me working so hard on these things, because for him, he's the artist. So he was like turning around his computer screen and saying like, hey, what do you think of the logo? And like this and that. And so his stuff got to be seen like right there. But considering we only jumped out in February, those campaigns, right, that I have set up, and like one, it's free, so just go play with it. But And I just had my first listing appointment based off of my campaigns, and just last week. And it was a gal that I called 7 times, never got a hold of her. And then all of a sudden the son called me on a Monday and was like, my mom said that you were trying to get a hold of her for the last few weeks. And I was like, yeah, I've made some phone calls. And he was like, well, she's ready to list her house now. We actually want to move her into a senior home and it's ready to go. So seeing the things on the front end function so well, but then seeing the things on the back end then come into play. But it's all like so easy. And I mean, obviously it takes a little bit of playing around with it, but that's what I mean is like just get in there and do it. And because those campaigns and those touches are such a huge thing, because it was Warren Buffett who said, if you don't learn how to make money while you sleep, you'll work until you die. And so having those things going on in the background, that's super freaking important. And because especially with the two of us, it's like, I know if I have an hour and a half drive to Cave Junction, which is what I must say one of the most beautiful parts of Oregon, right? I mean, that's 3 hours total drive time. If nothing's working for me, I mean, and that's like out of service and everything, like I'm just going to be slammed when I finally park the car and get back. Right? But I mean, that could be an entire day. And then all of a sudden I'm getting home sometimes at 7 and 7:30. I don't really feel like talking to any clients, but I can open up my KB core and look at it and it's like, oh, thank God. And I got like revisits on the website from here, this person got texted, everything's automated. And that's been like one of the most beneficial things for me, for us. The whiteboard piece, that was like one of the first things that we did also. Just, I mean, obviously like there's a cost that if you don't already have one, right? But really mapping out your business and what you have going on and like what could possibly like become something in people's names and addresses, just to have that visual. It's very inspirational. Because I mean, if you write down say like 10 addresses or 5 of potential listings, you're going to want to fill up the board. Like, I mean, it starts kicking me into high gear a little bit. I'm like, we should rock this out a little bit. And then another free piece, which is awesome because I have gotten a couple calls off it, is Google My Business. If you don't have a Google My Business page, you got to go set it up today. Because there's as a little golden nugget, if you do a Google My Business page, you get to choose particular keywords, and that when people search them, and like Southern Oregon, Salem, Albany, Oregon, you can pick those things. So it's like Albany real estate agents, this, and that. And well, tip of the trade, go in there, think of all the biggest top producers that you can that are in your area and add their names as keywords too. Because if someone searches some of the big dogs down here, I also pop up.
Hey guys, we just went ahead and posted that the link as well. It's google.com/business. If you don't know where to find it, now you know. It's also in the chat.
Thank you, Jeff. Hey, Tyler. So everybody, just to recap here, Tyler and Haim, as you can tell, have a different set of disc profile, if you will, of, and Tyler loved getting it all together. So one of the things he wanted to do when they decided they were going to join forces was okay, we have to have everything set. So let's get ready. Let's get the systems ready because we love connecting. We love communicating. However, we need to make sure that we know how to communicate with everybody, that there's systems in place for us to do it so we can just go and just do the fun part, which is connecting and communicating with everybody. Mm-hmm. So all of these different things are available to you. Here's some tips of what you could be using right now in your business. If you don't already have something, these are just like KV Core is one of them. There's other platforms out there. The calendar, they use Google Suite. There's other options for you. They worked on sharing the email. They've got the CRM going. He's got his campaigns going so he can communicate with everybody. They figured out their roles, who is going to do what, how they were going to do it. They've got a calendar, whether it's paper, whether it's a whiteboard, whether it's on your phone, but just have some way of visual and probably paper and your phone so you can stay connected. And then the Google My Business, which was an awesome tip that he had there, making sure everybody is on there and has those keywords set up.
I remember one, it was either Tyler or Haim, and you have it color coded on your calendar and their colors mean something.
Yeah, everything's all color coordinated. And part of like sharing our calendar is like we knew we weren't always going to be able to be in the same time at the same place. So we wanted to make sure to like not overschedule or double book anything that like one person had to be there for. So like purple's my personal color, and I think grape and then basil. But then like everything yellow is everything listing and seller related. Everything orange is everything buyer related, including inspections, when appraisal should be back, all those things. And, pink is my lovely wife for her personal.
No.
And yeah, gray is for events, and yeah, so I mean it's just a matter of choosing which one you want, because then you automatically, it's so easy offhand to know right away, like, oh man, he's going to be out, or oh, tomorrow's the inspection, because your eyes just draw to those colors. If you have them just memorized in your head, it's pretty easy. And if you pay for the Google Workspace, you can rename those as well. Right, so it's not just lavender, basil, and all that. You can actually put seller event, buyer event, and all that.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah, and I forgot to tell everybody, at the end of this presentation, if you can count how many times Tyler says wife and that he loves her, you'll win a prize. No, just kidding. Okay, so moving on. Let's see if I can get my slide. Yes, next one. So the other part of this was you got all the systems in place, and now you guys had the same plan and focus on what it is that you are now going to tackle in real estate. There's so many different things that you could do in real estate, just like we talked about earlier, where you could buy leads, you could figure out what you're going to do. How are you going to go about this? And you guys decided to focus on these specific key places that both of you were in alignment with.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the first one is, which we have it right there on the bottom. It's cultivating relationships. When we talked about it, the main thing is we want to cultivate meaningful relationships. When we talk about getting back to the basics, a lot of what we focus on is, because that term means a lot to different things to different people. And so for us, what getting back to the basics means is really build significant relationships with the people that you encounter, whether it's in person, whether it's on the phone, whether it's on social media. Those things matter. And when you can build actual meaningful relationships with people, genuine relationships, when we look at back to the basics, I always look at word of mouth. Because social media is a wonderful tool to be able to get things out into, the public, and people can share and do all those things. But in my experience, word of mouth is still faster and more effective than social media. And so if you can get that back into your mind ingrained, you have all these people in your sphere, you have all of these individuals that you come across every single day. Make a point to acknowledge them, make a point to show them that you care about what's going on in their lives, and the rest will fall in place. So that was basically our mentality around what does back to the basics mean? Cultivating meaningful relationships.
Love that. I love that.
Yeah.
And so,
Sorry.
go ahead, Tyler.
But when it came to like meeting new people and all of these things, like one of our biggest focuses, and it very quickly became like, if we can say yes, we're going.
Yeah.
Whether it's a lunch, a quick coffee, a meeting, sitting down over here, like we wanted to start just networking like mad for business owners and everything like that. So I mean, we were sitting down with like new lenders, new people in charge of memory care facilities, financial advisors, trying to find like various little outlets of just like let's make all the connections, but also back to the basics, right? And you'll see it in like one of the slides coming up. We want to make it fun, right? And by clients, completely like between clients and vendors and everybody else, our big focus was very much on point of like, if I can't sit and have fun with you, right, and like not talk about business, I don't really care to do business with you. Like if I can't just hang out with you, right, like if you're skilled, awesome, but if we can relax and chill, like, because that makes it easier to develop those meaningful relationships, right? With this communication, so in that focus of like Haim and I are very opposite of one another. a lot of the things I do, like one, I use KB Core like it's an assistant and just getting pummeled into the ground. And because every single morning, all I do is click the dashboard and look at my tasks. It's essentially, it's just like if you set those tasks in KB Core, and it's just like somebody handing a piece of paper to me and saying, hey, you need to call these 20 people today. And part of that, like everyone that goes into my KB Core is automatically getting a search alert, right, on whatever target city that they showed any kind of interest in, right? And that's once a week, right? That search alert goes out, and market report, right, I send out every 28 days. But part of that dashboard is I get to see what they're looking at, how many times they're looking at it on their phone and on their computer, right? Because I opened it up just the other day. Someone looked at a house I sent them 13 times. That's probably time to make a phone call. Right. So
and Tyler, just to say a little bit more about this slide, we put this slide together specifically about you because your focus is a lot about communicating to your database through people, and you're on the phone, you're on your email, your point of connection is through a communication that is usually based on also planned time. So in your calendar, you actually plan time for client connection time. And so what does that look like for you on a weekly basis?
And so for me, usually I try to do it every morning, like 9 to 11, and then between 4 p.m. and 6 p.m. But mostly it's like really leading kind of on my like sphere, past clients, everything like that. And because the biggest thing I believe that you should have 36 touches per year, right? Like per client, like no matter what. But my big thing about calling and texting is Facebook. Everyone says social media destroyed the world of human connectivity and everything else. And to an extent, you know what? I absolutely agree. Unless you weaponize the heck out of it. Mm-hmm. And part of it too is like every single time, like you all should open up your Facebook right now and tell me how long it takes you to scroll before you find a past client or someone who has sent you business or anything else. Because what I use Facebook for is if I go on there and I see that Kiki has a new dog, oh my gosh, Kiki is going to get 156 reactions because that freaking Labradoodle is the most cutest thing ever created. And they're going to have 56 comments. How many people do you think are going to call Kiki? Probably just one.
Tyler.
And the same thing when it comes to birthdays and anniversaries. One, I add that into my calendar, make it repeat annually because it's never going to change, right? At least the birthday side. But to all of that, also, like on a birthday, people are going to get 65 happy birthday posts, or a handful of little messages on Messenger and like all these things. But you know who's calling them? Mom, dad, sister, brother, family and their real estate agent. Take it a step further. And because those touches of like truly caring people, like when I'm making all those phone calls, like I don't care if I talk to the same person for a 9 to 11 block. If they want to kick back and talk and hang out, like what I'm trying to do is have meaningful conversations that all start with events in their lives. If they ask me about real estate, I'm sure they will, but I don't really talk that much about real estate to like my past clients and sphere and stuff. Like they know what I do, right? And as long as I continue to keep that personal connection there, like when I get referrals, right, it's because people turn around, they don't say like, oh, you should meet my real estate agent. They're saying like, oh, my friend Tyler, you have to talk to him. My friend. He's the real estate agent. He's the person you want to call. Like there's a set of family of people in Grants Pass out here. They've cultivated like 6 or 7 sales from just within the family, right? And they've probably sent like 8 or 9 referrals. One of the escrows we opened over the weekend was actually another one of those referrals from them. I don't talk about real estate. I talk to them directly as friends. Like that's all I'm ever want to do. That's the high I in me on the disc profile. But just keeping the genuine connection there and caring about them and making Popeyes and stuff, like that's it. But so to that extent, like you just have this free freaking thing sitting right in front of you. And to make it a little bit easier, another little golden tip, when you add them to your friends list, right, whether they're a current client or past client, right, go click the three little dots on their profile page, change the notification settings, and so that you get notified every single time they post something. Because then when you open up your Facebook feed, they're all the first people you're going to see. So you'll be able to run through your clientele right then and there before you ever get to the point of all the boring stuff and doom scrolling. And but that way you get efficiency out first. And heck, you might be so tired afterward you don't continue to doom scroll and get back to work. You never know. But
yeah. Hey, Tyler, these are great. And I know that we, when we wrote these things down of all the free, no cost, like things that you do in your business. And we're going to the next one where it's 10 days of gain, because originally it was 10 days of pain, but we were like, it's not really pain, it's 10 days of gain. Tell us more a little bit about that, why we changed that.
So at 10 days of gain, all like, because I do property, I've done a couple property boosts and stuff, but that's really honestly because I like making phone calls and I like those connections and just having extra people in the database. They're all getting those search alerts and market reports anyways, even if they never answer. But what you're gaining toward is like a new relationship and connection. And because if anyone was ever on like if they Conversion Monster is, and they have their whole setup of like battle plan, like call, text, email. And mine's a little bit softer than that, but I still do the full 10 days. But it takes 17 to 18 times for someone to answer the phone. Like that's the average number of phone calls before someone answers. And so really like pushing forward on that, like I've gotten a hold of so many people where it is the 17th, 18th phone call. It's like you never called them before. Or they're just like, oh, hey, yeah, I've got a couple of your voicemails. I've been meaning to call you back. And it's like they don't even care. And the people that do, cool, like one and done, get them out of the way. And delete them out. Well, I wouldn't delete them out of the system. They'd still get market reports and search alerts. But yeah.
And that's a key thing that you brought up when we were talking about, and I think a lot of people get concerned about how many times they're making that phone call or trying to make that touch to somebody. And you see it more of a, well, they weren't available yet. They weren't available yet. They weren't available yet. And then you finally catch them. And when you catch them, like you said, it's like it's your first conversation. So they're not upset necessarily, usually hurt or pissed off. They're just kind of like, oh yeah, hey, oh yeah, who are you and what's going on? And it's a first final touch. So, and you don't want to give up. Like you said, there's a purpose and a rhyme and a reason where that 17th to 18th touch is usually about where you'll probably catch them, because we're all human beings. We all have lives. We all have stuff going on. And if it's not a number we recognize, not high priority on our list, we might say, hey, I'm not going to answer that phone call right now. It's just not right now. It's a later. Hopefully they answer. And so a lot of these key things that Tyler focuses on is his Monday through Friday. You said from 9 to 11, you sit down and you're communicating. That's where it's at. That lead generating, whatever anybody wants to call that, client connection, lead generating, whatever, that's a connection time for him, a communicating time. So he opens up his KD core. He's ready to go at his daily tasks of who does he need to follow up with, talk to. He's opening a Facebook Messenger, just like you said. You're looking at like, what's happening in people's lives? Who can I call and make an impact today on something that's going on in their life? Because he has now become a friend of that person. He wants to know what's going on in their life. He wants to know, did they get the new car? Are they going camping? What they do this weekend? Somebody's graduating, whatever that looks like, or if there's nothing going on, you usually then find out more about them. Hey, what's going on with you this year? What's your big dreams this year? You ask a lot of questions when you're on the phone with people. And just like you said earlier, you don't have a timestamp for that phone call. You don't have this, I have to get through 20 before the end of the 2 hours. Your intention is to stay connected, genuine, get to know, foster that relationship. And through all of that you're doing, and just like you had mentioned, those 6 that you had gotten through that family of different clients, how often is that really happening just through this? This is no cost. This is just your time that you're spending on the phone, making connection with people that you feel that your business right now, I think you said 80% is a good or more is what your business is based on your database and referral that comes in.
Yep, 80% is definitely agent to agent referrals also, which I'll touch on in a second, but like client and past sphere people who are sending me new business, which is the easiest business in the world. That's why it matters so much. I like just genuinely care about them, and like forget about the dollars. And like if you genuinely care about people, like that's what's gonna end up like the most profitable.
Well, Tyler, in one of your examples too, it's not on here, but I remember you were sharing, like when you're in the car, you have your cards, you know, the not your business cards, but like a card that you can like.
Oh yeah, I'll talk about that in just a few here.
Yep.
But no, just
hey, Tyler.
Yeah.
I wanted to mention really quickly, because by the way, this stuff is awesome, guys, and I'm not going to stay on here for long because we got a lot of content. I know that, but I just want to mention, because we've got some prospecting warriors on the call too, and I know that sometimes they go la 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 la. So from one prospector to another out there, if you're one of the guys who's like, I just hammer, I'm going for quant, I'm going for volume, that's great, by the way, keep going. Once they're in your camp, this is the whole model. This is the whole process to having a better life over time. You can build your business rapidly. That's fine. However, once they're there, if you just lose them, all you're doing is running harder every year like an idiot. Honestly, like that doesn't make any sense. You got to build the business and then keep the business. And this is how you cultivate it in an ongoing way. And I'm so excited to hear you guys keep talking about it.
Right, because there is a difference between like paying for that lead. You don't know, and it's just a round robin thing, and it is harder work going that way. When you've cultivated the relationships with all of these people, business is coming your way. Warm business is coming your way. Like you were saying, Tyler, you need to talk to my friend who is a real estate broker, right? Who is going to help you. You've done such a great job helping them and their family and anybody else. And that's one of the things we were talking about earlier is we have switched gears. We are improving our experience working with our clients. The communication that through the transaction is great. However, it's a full experience during it, before, during it, and now at the end of it. Instead of we never heard from you again. Right. You know, transactions done, they're hearing from us all the time, and they're so happy to hear from us. We just got a text from somebody saying, oh my gosh, we're missing you guys, you know, because we haven't been doing, because during the transaction, it's communication. And it's only been what, a week. And they were already feeling a loss of communication from us. And we were immediately like, oh my gosh, we got to pick that back up. So
he texted, he was like, it's weird not hearing from you like on a daily basis. Like we were talking, you know, by text on a group text for like 2 months, you know, and then it was, so I'm thinking we have to wean them a little bit into the new plan of hearing from us a little bit less, but still hearing from us. So we're thinking about doing a little bit of that, where we do a little bit higher end touch right at the end of that transaction, in that first 30 days, higher end touches, because it's like nobody wants to feel that they've been dropped in any way of a cold turkey or anything like that. So we just loving our connections and, you know, the family life and the clients that we have, you know, like, again, Tyler, when genuine, you know, just being genuine and, you know, we're people persons, we're people lovers, you know? And so, you know, we like when, you know, the clients that work with us, and I'm sure with you guys too, just rant and rave and just, they tell everybody about who you are and how good of a job. And, you know, a friend, you know, like, I really like that. We're like, oh, they say, oh, we're not the realtor. We're like, oh, here's my friend. Oh, and they're a realtor, but they're friends, you know, because we want to work with people that we like, you know, and vice versa. Yeah. And so Tyler, you're doing an awesome job of like doing a heavy amount of communication. And it's not that, Haim's any different. He just kind of goes about it a little bit differently. You're always picking up the phone. You're always making sure you're like on that phone call. You're spending a good quality time on that. And Haim, we chatted with you, and you're really about making that like face-to-face connection. And it really is based on fun. So you talked a lot about this. I can't wait to give you the floor here to talk about all the experiences you have and the tips you have for everybody here about no cost, something you're already going to do already, not going to cost you any more. And just to do what you would want to be doing
tell them all about that, Haim, because it was amazing.
So the first part obviously is make it fun, make a friend, right? But the other side of it is, first of all, I hate sales. I just want to throw that out there. So I don't ever want to come off as a salesperson or anything. So the first thing that I do is I throw out any and all expectations out the window. So in everything that I go into, I'm going in with the intent of I'm going to have a great time, whether there's somebody there or there's nobody whatsoever. I'm going to have a good time no matter what. Remove all the expectations. I'm not looking at making a deal with somebody right on the spot. I'm not looking at getting a new, lead or even another agent that wants to come on board. I'm just like, I'm just going to go out, do my day to day, and I'm going to have a good time doing it, because when I wake up in the morning, you get to decide whether you're going to have a great day or a bad day. Mindset equals reality. So I get up every single morning and I tell myself, I'm going to go out and I'm going to have a wonderful time no matter what comes my way. And so that being said, so right here we have one of our points is coffee shop. I love coffee. And so one of the things that I do is I do coffee every single morning, Sunday through Saturday, at 7:12 a.m. And so one of the things that I enjoy about that is that it builds connection. There's a lot of people out there. I get to meet people new every single day. But when I do this, I put a little twist on it because, as I said, I like to have fun. I like to mix things up. So I'll bring board games. Sequence is one of my favorite ones. And so usually I'll call a friend and say, hey, I'm down here at the coffee shop. Do you want to come out and we'll just play a game? And so we'll be out there playing Sequence. We'll play chess. We'll play Connect Four, Battleship, whatever it is, right? And it's awesome because we're just having a great time. And then as we're playing, you always have people come over and say, hey, what are you guys playing? What are you doing? You get to meet new people. And so the opportunity, it's some people go to the coffee shop, put up their laptop, and I'm going to work out of here and put up a sign that I'm a realtor and see if I can generate some traffic. Most of the time that pushes people away because they're like, oh, they're going to try to sell me on something. And so my whole thing is I just want to have fun. So as I'm playing these games, as people start interacting with me, they're like, oh, you're here at 7:12 every morning? Great. I'm going to stop by next time. Can I bring some friends? Absolutely. And if I don't have a board game, I'll just open up with some questions, that just kind of throw people off, So we'll do a quick introduction. Who's there? What's your name? And it's like, okay, I got a question for you. And we want your serious advice. Is a hot dog a sandwich? Right? And then let people just explain it. Do something silly that get people talking about it. And then other people in the coffee shop are like, well, actually, if you look at the science behind it or the definition, and then it just kind of just keeps populating. More and more people get involved. And the neat thing is about this is I would start it off with just going to the coffee shop with one friend. And then next thing you know, I have 30 people there wanting to be part of the circle because it's fun, it's engaging, and it's in the morning before anyone goes to work. And so that is one of the things that I do, not only because I enjoy it, but at the same time, it creates people engagement because everyone's interested in what you're doing over there. As long as your consistency, it's going to continue to grow. The amount of people that are going to come in is going to grow. And that also builds your sphere. And it helps build a community of people that like the same things as you do, whether it's coffee, whether it's board games, whether it's interesting facts, fun facts, little things like that. And so that's something that I like to do to kind of get out there. It's not costing me anything more than I would already do. I'll go ahead and pay for my $3 coffee with a free refill because I like to shop on a budget. I'm not going to say I'm cheap. I like to make things affordable. That's what it is. But it's really nice because it allows you to connect with individuals that you wouldn't have done otherwise. And it makes the icebreaker where you're trying to, meet the people that are coming in. They come to you. So I don't like chasing after people. I let them come to me. And so the neat thing is that this kind of goes into our next topic is lots of times when you have all of those people there, you start to learn that some of them like to hike. Some of them like to play pickleball, like to do some other stuff. Great. I'm like, where do you go to play those things? Well, I'd like to play, but I don't have any friends to go play with me. Guess what? Now you're starting to build different avenues where you're going to continue to meet and generate new people, new friends that you're going to be able to network with, right? And so that's something that I always tell people is if there's an opportunity there. I've never played pickleball. I honestly thought it was a different game when I heard the term until I looked it up, but it was really neat because then I got to go out there, I got to do something that I haven't done before, and I got to meet new people. And I never start off with, I don't like to lead into what I do. That's something that naturally happens. People will always ask you, so what do you do? Where are you from? This and that, right? Wait for people to ask you, don't throw it out. And then that way you can let them know. And that just continues to kind of build up from there, which is something I really like. And so when we talk about creating events, right? So it's lots of times you can spin off from even a coffee meeting. Somebody says that they want to go play pickleball. Somebody wants to go play golf, things like that. One of the things that I hit on very early is the last 14 years, I was working in HR for the largest seasonal employer in Southern Oregon. And I was the recruiter, you name it, a little bit of everything. And one of the questions that I always got was, what's there to do around here? Or not just what's there to do around here, but I'm new to the area. How do I make friends? I don't know anybody here. What can I plug into to meet new people? So when I started hearing that, not just at the coffee shop, but at work and different other places, me and a couple of my friends got together and we created what was called the Catalyst Professional Network. And so that was an opportunity where we would go to different restaurants, different venues. We would talk to the business owners and say, hey, we want to throw a meet and greet, a networking function for young professionals. Can we host it here? So now I'm making rapport with the businesses. Now I'm able to say, I got so many people, I'm gonna bring you so many people, and that's more businesses generating to them. So I would always open that up with, hey, what are your slowest days, right? What are the days that you struggle in as a business? I would like to bring more people to your business. And so generally, if you try to do an event like that, you have to pay for a host space or something like that. I would always get it for free. I never paid for anything because I would open it with what are your slowest days? And I would like to be able to help you generate more income during those days by creating this function and funneling people to you. So now they're appreciative. Now I'm making connections there. And then I will utilize, whether it's social media, I'll talk to other HR professionals in other businesses and say, hey, if you have any people that are new to the area that are having difficulties fitting in or looking to make new friends, here's a flyer. Please feel free to send them out here, right? So that's one of the events that I created, which took off like crazy. We'd have 60, 80 people showing up to these events. And eventually it ended up dying down because instead of a professional network, everyone wanted to date, but that's a different story. But after that, I started working with the Medford Chamber, and then they created the Young Professionals Network that goes on every single month, which is fantastic because now I don't have to do the work. I just show up and have a great time. And so that's what I talk about when it's creating an event, is find something that's missing in your community. Find something that people are searching for and just do it. It doesn't take a lot of work to do that. And it gives you the opportunity to approach businesses, individuals, and be able to make that connection where you're providing value, not just monetary by bringing in more people, but you're helping them expand their brand. They're helping their business get more recognition, and you're allowing other people in the community to get more exposure, not only to businesses, but each other. And that's individuals in different fields. I have a lot of people from the medical industry, from the corporate world, from the finance world, all over, people that they would have never met in their daily lives with their routines and everything that they had. And so those are some of the things that I talk about. It's create an event, create something that adds value, but also look at your bottom line, right? Brass tacks, you don't want to spend a lot of money to bring people together. There are avenues that you can go to if you get creative on how you're going to approach it. And so that's what I mean by creating an event. You can create community and bring people together. So segueing down to fishing, this is one of the events that I created that was separate from that. So backstory is I like to cruise. I like to go on cruises, check out different areas. And one of the things that I enjoy more than anything with that is the excursions. Whether it's snorkeling, whether it's going and looking at ruins, whether it's doing all these different type of things. One of the questions I always ask everybody, and this is something that I got asked a lot when I was in the corporate world, is what's there to do around here? And when we think about that, I've been here in the Valley since '98, or even before that, actually. But the issue that I have with that question is we can draw up a big list of what's there to do around here, whether it's waterfalls, whether it's hikes, whether it's Crater Lake, whether it's going to the coast, the dunes, high desert, all these different type of things. And my question to you is, have you done them? Right? Because most people can tell you all these things, but they're like, I'm so busy in my day, I've never had an opportunity to do these things because we fail to explore our backyard. We will go on vacation, we'll go to all these exotic places, right? Different countries, but how many times do we explore our backyard? Right. And so this fishing trip, it's something that I enjoy. I enjoy fishing and doing things like that. So what I do is I treat it as an excursion. So I get all the details of what I like to do. I'll go fishing outside of Brookings, and I found these amazing cabins at River's Edge, which is a RV park close to there, that sleep up to 4 people for $48 a night. Right. So then I talk to them and I'm like, hey, I want to bring some people out. I want to book out a boat, do all these things. And so then I get the rates for everybody. I get all the information, and then I create a Facebook event and I put all the information, when I'm going, where I'm going, how much the costs are, what you can expect, what to wear. I break it all down. And then when I publish it, I open it to the public. And so from there, the neat thing is, I don't know who's coming, but the second that starts filling up, now I'm connecting with them on Facebook. Now I'm adding them as friends. Now they're asking me questions about all of it. We're connecting and getting all those things going. So then we end up going to the trip, and I get to meet them finally in person, and we get to have great conversations over a fire pit, And then that's where you cultivate the relationship. That's where people start asking, what do you do? Do you like what you do? How long have you been in the area? Do you have a family? All these different type of things. And then you go on the trip, you have a wonderful time, come back, and now you just added an additional, 15 to 20 people to your sphere on Facebook. And now everybody I'm a big picture taker. I take pictures and video of everything. So now, not only do I have connections with them, I'm posting pictures, I'm tagging them on there. Not only do I have them as a contact, I'm on their profile, I'm on my profile, I'm on everybody else's. They're advertising it as well. We have such a wonderful time. And so that's something that I always tell people about how to kind of build it. So when I talk, that's one of the events that I do, right? So going down into community
Hey, Haim. Hold on. I just have to make sure that everyone's hearing this. I'm going to break up the voices for 1 second because holy crap. So Haim's like, here's what I do. I party like a rock star. I invite everyone. I bring on new people. I take all their photos. We end up as social media friends. And then I sell a shitload of real estate. Like, if that doesn't sound pretty awesome, it should. By the way, Lexi does this stuff too, and I love it. Dude, you're a genius. I love that because you're having fun, you're living your life, you're out there experiencing big, and at the same time, you're incorporating other people. By the way, this concept can go further. Like if you're already planning on doing something, just think, how can I incorporate others and build my tribe while I'm doing this, while it adds to me and my business, but it's not a take, it's a give. Right? Yep. You're there legitimately having a good time. And I think that's brilliant. So super cool, man. Keep going. All right. Sorry.
It's literally living life. And I love the point that he made of like, have you done any of these things? Have you even done anything in your own backyard? You're going to give all these tips of all these different things that you could do here, but have you actually gone and done them? I love it because it's like you go on a hike, you go to the falls, you do whatever, just like this fishing thing, you incorporate anything. There's a lot of people out there that are looking to do and want to enjoy and see these features. And so you go out there and you say, well, I'm going to go do this. Who wants to join me?
Yeah.
And it could be somebody you know, and it could be somebody you don't know. Obviously, as women, we'd probably have somebody coming along with us. It wouldn't be just us going by ourselves.
Well, we wouldn't be going fishing.
Yeah, we're not doing fishing. However, yeah, glamping,
Yeah.
So anyway, I love that. And
Yeah.
Haim, it's just like Jeff was saying, you're doing all of this and you're getting business from it. We know that you have to be, because this is all genuine actions that you're taking. However, getting on to the next point that you were just about to touch on was the community one. And I'd really like, you shared a story with us that I feel, of all of the things that we talked about and the different businesses that you've gotten from all of these different activities, this one really was amazing. And I'd really like you to share it with everybody, because it was really pretty special. So I'm going to just bring this up for us and go take it away.
Awesome. So when it comes to, community engagement and activity, I'm going to kind of start off with a little bit something and then kind of go into the story. But all of these things where, you're just cultivating relationships and you're cultivating opportunities for people to experience things that they wouldn't have experienced before. And so, from the coffee shop, I'm just going to kind of segue from there, and then I'll get to that point. Is one of the things that we noticed is, and we talked about that in the coffee shop too, is who's gone to all these different restaurants, who's gone and explored our own backyard and different things. So from the coffee shop turned into what we named ourselves local tourists, right? And so we're at the coffee shop, and then what we would do on the weekends is, once we're done having coffee, we're going to go walk around town, downtown, other areas, and we have the mindset that we've never been there before. Treat this as if you're at a different place and you're exploring a new place and you're checking out all the shops. You're going, getting a scone at the local bakery, different type of things like that. And that's something that was really cool, because once we started developing that, not only do we have our coffee, then everyone's excited, where are we going to today? That's where I found out Memos has amazing chilaquiles. They're incredible, but it's one of those things that it's just like having those conversations and listening to people and finding out what are things that they feel that they're missing. Think about those things and see how you can amplify that and create something to add some value. So that's just something that I like to add to all of those. And of course, when we talk about Facebook invite, every time that you meet with somebody, I don't like asking for business cards. I'm like, hey, are you on Facebook? Let's connect, because now it's more like you're making a friend, right? So I always try to keep that in mind. You can see what they're up to. To Tyler's point, you can have those touches and seek the meaningful moments in their lives. So when it comes to community activity, this is it. Now we're on that one, and this one's something that I like to do, and this is part of kind of the events thing too. So years ago, so I'm a husky guy. I'm kind of the yo-yo dieter. I don't know if you guys heard of that term. So I'll get really fit, look amazing, and then I'm just going to go ahead and pack it on again. So there was a 5K that was being put on by Hearts with a Mission. And so if you haven't heard about Hearts with a Mission, it's a wonderful organization, nonprofit, that pretty much takes in children that come from troubled homes in order to try to give them a better life. And so they were putting on a 5K called the Superhero Run. So I saw that as an opportunity where I'm like, I really got to get out of my comfort zone. I haven't been able to make it to the gym. I've been talking about eating healthy, but then I'm going home and having a cheeseburger or some mac and cheese with a bunch of sriracha, right? Like, it doesn't make any sense what I'm doing. So I told myself, I'm going to commit to doing this 5K. And in order to hold myself accountable, I'm going to go ahead and post it online. So I went ahead, took the posted online, and I said, I'm working really hard. I'm trying to get out of my comfort zone and becoming healthy. If any of you would like to join me, I'm going to be doing this 5K. I'd love to see you there. Boom. Just put it out there, right? And so this one was called the Superhero Run. So when we get there, I'm, as awesome as I always am. So I decided to show up with a hamster onesie, all the way. And then I threw on a Superman shirt that had a cape on the back, because, I just have to be that little bit more extra, because that's what it is. So we start the run, and I got about like a good 15 people there, 15 to 20 people, friends that showed up to show support. But unfortunately, all of my friends that showed up, they're actual runners. So that wasn't necessarily the best part for me, but I'm like, okay, let's do this. So we start running, we're doing the 5K, and I'm struggling. I didn't realize that this fleece onesie was going to cause me to overheat, sweat, and just make life miserable for me. But I was determined, and I told myself, I'm going to finish this because I set this goal for myself and I'm not going to fail. So we do the whole 5K and I get to the finish line and I pretty much like almost collapse. I'm sitting on the curb like this, just trying to stay up and breathe because I'm so out of breath and everything. And when I look up, it was interesting. I had this little girl come up to me. She's about 14 years old, right? And give or take a few years. And she just tells me, hey, I just really wanted to say thank you. And I'm like, thank you. I'm like, well, thank you for what? Because now I need to know, right? And then she goes and tells me that she's one of the kids from Heart with a Mission, that she's had a troubled past, and luckily, Hearts with a Mission was able to take her in and give her some support and help her try to get back on her feet. And she went on to tell me that in her entire life, she's never accomplished anything in her entire life. She's never felt like she's succeeded or won or finished anything that she had set out to do. And so the interesting part was she was telling me that when she started the run, she got about a quarter of a mile in and was defeated and just wanted to stop. And at that moment is when she saw me come up and she saw how miserable I was in my hamster suit, and I was dying in there. And she said, seeing how horrible you looked, made me feel like if you can do it, I can do it. And so she ran behind me the entire time. The entire time she was right behind me until I finished. And she was saying, thank you, because for once in my entire life, this is the first time that I've been able to complete anything and feel accomplished. And to me, like, that gives me chills just talking about it, because I was so out of it, I couldn't even get her name. I don't even know where she's at now, but it was one of those moments that just kind of hit me, because you never know who's watching. You never know what you're doing and how that's going to impact other people. And my whole intention was just, for me, I need to finish this because I've set a goal for myself and I need to make sure that I'm holding myself accountable. And I didn't realize that there were other people watching and the impact that that would have. And so the neat thing about that, and I didn't even expect this, like I say, going into things with no expectation, later on, there's a newsletter that comes out and I'm on the cover like this with my hamster suit, which was fantastic. I was like, this is great. Well, that made its way down to United Way of Jackson County. That made its way down to Habitat for Humanity, right? So a lot of other people, other agencies saw this thing. Well, right around that time, our valley was hit with the Admita fire. And so 2,500 people were displaced due to the fires. They lost their homes. They had nothing. And at that moment, I was still working for that company in the second or the largest seasonal employer in Southern Oregon, and my HR position. Yes, I was licensed. Yes, I was able to do real estate. The interesting thing about that is because I was able to do that and I got in front of so many people when they saw what I was doing and that I cared, right? I was helping the 300 individuals, 200 to 300 individuals from the company that got displaced, to try to find them a home, to try to find them a place that they can go. From there, the county, which housed a lot of the people at the expo, they sent me their lists of almost 1,500 people that were also looking for homes. And so what I was able to do from there, working with the Shakespeare Festival, Geo's Institute, a lot of agents in the Valley, I was able to help them get housing or find places that they can park their RVs and find some shelter, because many of them, I get calls and they're like, they have freezer suits from our work, right? Because they would work in freezers below 20 degrees. They're like, I'm sleeping by the river in my freezer suit because I lost everything and I don't have anywhere to go. And we were able to get them and put them up in some houses in other places. And so the thing that I'm saying here is that you never know where something's going to lead you. And if you go into things with an open mind, without expectations, and just genuinely do things to have a good time and help others, you never know where that's going to take you. And yes, I was able to refer a lot of the business out. There was some money behind it, but that's something that I say is lose the expectations, stop being a salesperson and start having genuine connections with individuals and truly want to help. And I feel that energy, people can feel it and they sense it. And so as long as you lead with care, the rest of it is going to come together. So.
And Haim, the thing is that your genuine connections are about literally being a part of the community. And you're doing it, and everybody always says like, oh, I want to be part of the community and get involved with something I'm not sure what to do. And you've shown in so many different ways how to be a part of the community without being a part of even a nonprofit, right? That just happened to be one of the many things that you mentioned in here. You basically form your own community. And that's what social media, just like Tyler was saying earlier, why social media is like you use it as a tool, as an opportunity to connect with people that you know and you don't know. And so this has just been amazing. I don't know who else had tissues handy, but when he first told me that story, I was teared up because, I mean, Haim, you're just an amazing person, and it just comes out that way with everything that you do. And it's no wonder that it came back to you.
Yeah, you're a superhero, and everybody wants the picture of you in your hamster suit.
Yes, everybody's like, where's the photos?
Where's the photos?
So if we can really fast, take down the slide, because I do want to mention something about. Okay. So just so everybody's aware, because obviously, that was like a big story, and like there's so many moving parts attached to all of it. But as a great example, there's a 4th of July parade down here in Eagle Point, Southern Oregon. There's a 4th of July 5K. He put it out into the world, and 28 people signed up. He doesn't know half of them from his friend list, but that's just going to be an additional connection thing. And also, what was it? From what he's doing, not last week, but the week prior, we had 3 listings go live, all from networking. All from his side, not my side. And it was like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, live. And so it works, and it functions very well. And it cracks me up because we split up at certain times during the day and everything else. And typically, we're still on the phone 2 or 3 times a day, beginning of day and end of day at least, to update each other on what else we accomplished, so we can better plan for tomorrow. But it's a fun symbiotic relationship, what we were talking about, the yin and yang, because he doesn't like sales. He just wants to have fun and make relationships and the genuine connections. And so that function on the other side is that he'll pop up and he's like, hey, Tyler, here's the name and phone number, throw them in the system. And then they go into the sales process. And that's where I take over, because even his buddy Alejandro, who plays board games with, Haim at one point was just like, oh, yeah, here you go. And got him pre-approved. He was in a house within a week. And that's just when I took over. I was like, no, give me a week. We'll make it happen. And still doing everything genuine, but those results are there. And they're completely tangible. It's pretty freaking sweet. And watching how much we both contribute, but how many people get added to the database between the 2 of us. And so the results are there.
Love it. And sorry, I noticed my chat was not going directly to everyone. I had forewarned everybody to get tissues before that, but I don't think you saw the message. So I got it switched up. But that's amazing, Tyler and Haim. You guys are doing tons of connection through communicating genuinely with people. No matter how you're doing it, it comes across genuine. You have great conversations. Everything leads to the success of your business through just being yourselves and enjoying life every day. And not that you're grinding at work, where you're going into the office and you have to grind and you don't get to see the family or anybody else until your face comes up, or you're running around with your head cut off. You're actually doing activities on a weekly basis where you're enjoying life along with business. And I love it because it just opens up our mind. Like, wow, right. Well, we need to go to mini golf today. I don't know. There's something we need to do today that's funner, that we can invite people to and enjoy all the aspects of life. So we did have on our next slide, we're really excited because everyone who's still here, I see there's a couple people who had to get out. I know it's at 10:13 here. However, we do have something fun for everybody to get started with this. So I'm going to get on this next slide.
When it comes, well, Chrissy, you're doing that. And I do want to mention like one quick thing.
Okay.
When it comes to these events and doing Facebook events and everything else, like all of this stuff is very much like, I know that there are probably some people on the call who have heard me say this before, but it's like one of my favorite freaking things. So if everyone can text me the answer, I want to know what you think the answer to this question is. What is more important? Who you know or what you know?
Oh, yes. Who you know.
I've got my chat open and I'm waiting for you, community.
Who you know or what you know? Which one's more important?
I'm going to start calling people out.
What's your number? As you said, what's your number?
Who you know, who or what you know. I'm seeing so many who's. But for me personally, I'm going to tell you straight up, man, I absolutely disagree. It's who knows you. If you don't have a platform to stand on or a stage to stand on, get out there and build it. And that is the most important thing. Like, who knows you? Because they're the ones who are going to like call you and reach out. And my friend Tyler, he's an agent. You absolutely have to know him. Right? Because if you're top of mind, right, at all times, because you're making the connections correctly, and then like the events attached, that is where the magic's going to happen.
Yeah, and to add to that, like with a lot of the events, even the coffee group and a lot of those things, whenever I go to events, it's very rare that I will ever introduce myself. First of all, my name, people have a hard time saying my name. So generally speaking, I usually have one or a couple of people with me, and they're usually the ones that introduce me to somebody else. They're like, hey, I want you to meet my friend Haim. And then and then they'll do like, sometimes they'll do a whole, build up. Hey, so Haim's this and that, I want to let you know all these different type of things. And I'm like, there's people that already know me that I've never even met. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the things that about building these type of events and these type of things, people will start to talk about it. Oh, what were you doing the other day? I went to this to the coffee shop, met up with some friends, and we're just playing some games or going through these things. Oh, my friend Haim runs it, or he put it together. And then that starts the whole conversation. So most of the people that show up, besides the ones that are there and just, make their way over, they already know who I am before I even got to know them. And so that's a key component, as well as to taking the lead and the initiative to create something when people are saying that there's nothing going on. So,
hey, Haim, I just want you to know that in Hebrew, Lahaim, right? When you've heard people say Lahaim, that actually means to life.
It does.
And that's what you're doing, my man. That's what you're living.
Thank you. I usually get people singing the song too.
What song is that?
Lahaim. There's a whole song to it. I can't sing it, but it's
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. So on our next slide, a lot of you kind of just already saw it. We want to encourage you to get started with connecting with people. So right now, we want you to open up Facebook, open up your text. Here's a couple of different things you can utilize. All we care about is that you're reaching out to somebody right now, that you know that you were hoping to reach out today, say hi to them in some way, make a connection, reconnect with them, whatever it is. Just text or Facebook message somebody right now on here, and we'd love to hear, any responses that you get while you're here, any ahas or wonderful responses that you get, because all of this is about reconnecting and or connecting. Maybe somebody had reached out to you. Maybe there was somebody you meant to reach out to. Tyler and Haim both had their opportune texts here. Hey, I was just in blank, and so I was thinking about you guys. How are you? And that was all about Tyler's thing of a neighborhood. So he's usually driving through neighborhoods, and he said, well, if I haven't already done it today, I know I was there yesterday or the day before. Somehow I was there. So, hey, I was just in, such and such neighborhood, and I was thinking about you guys. How are you? That was his thing. And Haim, you're all about connecting, about locations, local, that kind of thing. So, hey, there's this new restaurant that opened up, or hey, blank has a special right now. I was going to check it out. Do you like to join me? So, think about those. Think about connecting with somebody. Do it now. Reach out to somebody while we're here. We'd love to hear if you got any results from that.
Done.
And how many people on here are doing it on the chat? How many people are reaching out?
It's so easy too to be, if you live in Albany, and I don't know, like up there what things look like geographically, like how easy it is to get to places anymore. I'm getting old. But like for me down here, it's like I live in Eagle Point. If I go show a house in Medford, I've sold like who knows how many houses in Medford. So I'm just gonna pick a client. Hey, I just showed a place in Medford. And so I thought about you guys. I was over by Bear Creek Park. How are you? That's it.
Yeah. And so while we're waiting to see if you guys got any fun results to share with us, what we do have is some bonus ideas and tips for you here to reconnect with people and do some things. So on our next slide here, got some fun ones here. These are some bonus ideas of how to connect with people. So Haim has an awesome one that he shared about headshots. So taking a headshot of yourself, a few different ones, maybe putting that on and saying, hey, I'm updating my photo. Which one do you think? Right?
Yeah. Vote on the one that you like the best, or, which one should I use?
To get that engagement from your social connection out there. Or you could do something even funner than that. And if you want to go to Haim's personal Facebook page, you can see the one on there.
Oh, goodness.
There was a post that I made on May 3rd, in case anybody wants to see it. So, the headshot one is one that I like to put out there because with anybody that you have in your sphere, it gets very, how would I say, people don't like it when you talk about your business. And so if you're like, hey, I'm a real estate agent, follow me or engage with me, all these different types of things, most people just don't care. It's just busy work. But people love to be able to engage and give their opinions. And so that's where with the headshot one, I say, whether you're taking a selfie or have a friend or someone that can do some headshots for you, pick about 4 of them, one or two, make sure that there's a funny one in there, some serious ones, just kind of mix it up. And then just ask people, hey, I want to go ahead and make new cards, or I'm looking for a new profile picture. Can you help me pick which one I should choose? And then just let the whole thing just go, because now everybody knows you're doing real estate. You become relevant again, right? And then you have everybody engaging because everyone loves to give their opinion on things, right? And so that's one of them. Another one that I did this post specifically because we were going to do this call, because I'm like, well, I'm talking about all these things, I might as well just do something so you can go ahead and see what it does. Is I don't know if you guys have ever watched the movie I Love You, Man. Right. Paul Rudd is a real estate agent. Right. And so his buddy goes ahead and buys him some advertisements. So when I first got into real estate, my brother thought it'd be hilarious. And he photoshopped one of those billboards and sent it to me, which is hilarious. So I took that and I posted it on my personal site. And I just said, received this about 8 years ago for ideas as to how to do my marketing or something along those lines. And it's just a hilarious photo. But that photo itself tripled the engagement of what I normally get. And so I specifically did that. So if you wanted to see things that you can do to spike engagement, right? Now, the second that they engage with you on their feed, every time they log in, you're going to be one of the first ones to pop in. So you want people to keep engaging with your content because the algorithms will create it that way. So sometimes I'll throw something completely out there to see how people will react to it, and also to get me on the top of their list again. So if you have a chance, I'm the only person with my name. So it's very easy to find me on Facebook. Feel free to go on there and look at the post on May 3rd, and you can look at some of the other posts.
I have the picture and I love to share it. Can I do it?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, let me see if I can do it here.
I don't know if you can.
And so I do want to say also, by the way, oh yes.
Hold on. There it is. So he's sharing it.
So it got a lot of engagement, and it was awesome because that was just a quick little Photoshop. It's silly, but people are now looking at it, and then on the top of their mind again, Haim is a real estate agent. And so that's one of the techniques I always say about when you're talking about social media. Keep in mind of the algorithms. Keep in mind that every time somebody clicks on it, even if it goes dead, if you click on it and you haven't liked it yet, it's going to pop up on your followers as somebody just commented on this, somebody just liked it, and it refreshes it to be on the top. So just remember those things when you're going through it.
And I have a question because I saw 99 reactions on that.
Yeah.
Right? How many comments do you think you got?
I have no idea.
30. There was about 30. I think.
How many phone calls?
Hilarious. Hilarious.
Yeah. And so the next one though, the birthdays. So Tyler, we all say to stay in touch with people for their birthdays. And, on social media, you're just going to get lost in the 50 million people who are saying happy birthday to them. So it's a call, it's a text video message. Every time though, you're not going to miss somebody's birthday. And with that, Tyler even this is the only thing that is costing him money, in this display of no cost. He makes sure to have $5 Starbucks cards in his car. And if he's ready to go deliver those literally on the site to his client that day, for their birthday, taking it that extra step. So little bit of these extra touches, what Haim and Tyler do is like connection and communicating on steroids is what they do. They really take this a notch above, and this is scaling up on how you can connect with your clients, your past clients, and this is going to return, future clients to you. And then the contacting agent from a different brokerage and sit down with them for coffee. Tyler's got something to say.
Yes. So a huge thing with this, and that if anybody takes anything away from this, I hope you have had some good takeaways, some gold nuggets and all that fun stuff. But I'm especially really talking to agents about doing this, because I call up agents I like, no matter where they're at, Remax, whatever, and just you're making friends with them and making connections. But all I do is hey, I've got some buyer wants. This is what we're looking for. What do you got? And having that back and forth of hey, want to let you know, hey, I've got an East Medford listing coming up. It's going to be priced super duper cheap. I want to make sure it tots that way out here. I'll toss some pictures to you and just how's it going, man? Or how's it going, lady? We have the conversation back and forth, and you have these relationships. But the thing that I've been harping so hard on a handful of the agents in my organization for, these are going to be some of the most important relationships you can possibly have come July. Having agents on the other side who are excited to see your name for a showing request or anything else, who are going to push and fight for you because they know, like, and trust you. It's going to be so important to have great relationships with the agents in your area. And we all like to talk. So all you're doing is calling somebody up you've done a deal with before, and be like, let's talk about real estate. They're gonna.
Yep. Know your audience.
Yep. Just had a conversation one-on-one with an agent last week, and it was reconnecting, and it was all about, what's going on, what's happening with you. Winter was a little bit tough. Things are finally picking up, and didn't matter what brokerage we were at. It was the fact that we were trying to connect about real estate, and then naturally, just organically, just like anything else, they're at a company, we're at a company. We get to talk about us. They get to talk about them. That's just the way it works. And it's just like Jeff was saying in here in the comments, you get to help them build their business. And that's who's going to be returning back to you when you're bringing value to them. So, and that's the genuine sense of everything that's going on with this presentation today. We appreciate Tyler and Haim to be a part of today with us to bring to you. I know we're at the 10:30 mark here in just a couple of minutes. I see there's a lot of people who've had to probably get on with their day. I hope you guys took a lot away from this. If you have any questions or comments, this is the time before we actually approach our 10:30 mark and get you guys really off for your day. But thank you, Tyler and Haim, for being here.
Yes, thank you.
Absolutely. And we will help you lovely ladies out anytime.
Awesome.
But thank you, everybody who's here. We appreciate you. I hope you've got some great content from this presentation today. We really felt we wanted to bring it back to the basics, and bringing it back to the basics is all about people. This is a people business. The transactions come because of the people. So get back into your relationships and connections with your people. Find ways to make that happen. Lots of great ways that you can do that, either phone calling or getting in part of the community and getting your life back, is what I was hearing on here too. So,
And doing what you love.
quality of life.
Yeah.
Conversation
thank you.
sport and a relationship game.